church, at which I sharply rebuke and correct as the Medes and the Persian within, the Persian above, which is Hades, the true judge, the true prince. Not Xerxes that he shared the ark with, but Xerxes is a prince. Xerxes, who shared the ark with King David Wagler, who wore the shoes of Hades, the shoes of gospel, who wore the breastplate of righteousness, who wore the helmet of salvation, both light and dark, and the brother Orion of Hades, light and dark, who had the sword of light as the split tongue, the Mede or the media, it's like a radio death, mother of Babel, media, and the Persian within, the true Persian, and that lives in this world, which is the false god and the false healer. However, a part of the law, I say sharply in a rebuke to the church, that all the people have a right to know, in a fair practice as law and righteous abiding citizens. A fair practice is that the people should have full opportunity to know the truth. And I say this as you officers in the law, clothe yourselves in our children, youthful spirits, and try to force us to fight ourselves, understanding that it is not a law that we curse by fighting you when you come against us in vainglory for whatever bought government or idol or president or governor with his money in foreign countries and all his militaries from those places over here. I don't care. But the children of all sorts, colors, kind, the children of God at birth, the youthful spirits that are closest to God being used in the practice of a law and making people forcibly fight and defend themselves like it was with Hercules, who was gifted with the inheritance as a heavyweight baby, like a majority of heavyweight babies who are considered to be stricken or beaten, like a beaten king is somebody who has favor with the archangel and enlightened by Hades and Orion. Some of the time-consuming thoughts and the many children that come against us in the practice of law, no matter what, as I sharply rebuke the church, no matter what, do not fight them. It does not do anything to a lawman. It does something to the children. God does not see an adult seeking, killing, and destroying. We have to expose it. The omniscient one is a fulfillment of wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, able to speak off of that very creation at the beginning, which is the Word. The Word, to speak off the Word, ordained with the Spirit to speak off of the Word of pure knowledge and understanding and wisdom, able to redeem, able to find redemption for those children in the law that can't, they can't let you go. They won't leave you alone. A constant irritation, like a weed, like a pig, like a pipefish, like a horse pipefish. I don't consider it an irritation. I consider it a blessing. But when they purposely and when you know they don't have power against you, yet they try to overcome your head and cause you to act foolish, claiming that 9/10 of the law is property. 9/10 of the law in Genesis 44, they can come against you. 9/10 of the law, it comes upon me, and I speak, the words are mine. The words are Hades and Orion. The words of the rest of the kings above. But a man in this world who practices slaughtering livestock and coming against us, claiming that it is their gold and silver, like it reads in Genesis 44, that they have a right to come with their steward and overtake us, to cause us to act foolish and spread out for a theft or a interest in a heathen type of way, or a seducing type of way, or abominable type of ways in order to practice law. Most likely the steward is in the law, or a part of the law, or a part of Freemason or Illuminati. The steward, the false Illuminati, which is upon this earth as Xerxes, or the viper Medusa of Xerxes with Delphi, and the real Illuminati with the whales at the gatekeeper, with Jormungandr and Leviathan and Thaar and Hymdollar and Hymir, the real Illuminati above with the whales and the Shepard of the whales, and then the false one. That's with Jesus Christ in Delphi and Satan. But the false Illuminati here upon this earth, between the watchers of the earth and the watchers of the heaven, the brother, they say in Osiris, the brother in brother's arms, which I say, stand strong that thou may not be defrauded by a brother, which is Xerxes in the world, and above is King David, and the Lord, the true author of this book, who is widely sacrificed in uh, many uh, pestilent ways for a purpose of world takeover or dominations, by using a census with our ancestors that can't be practically considered as a fair thing to do, when the law, who clothes themselves in the children of God, Beowulf, the closest children of God. Beowulf is not God, but God, like the closest thing to God in the time of uh, Orion, or after Orion, or even uh, further past the death of Orion, and Orion, who had spread out into the great universe with as the stars, and Hades, who had made himself the doorkeeper of hell and helheim, the doorkeeper. Before you can actually enter into heaven, you have to go through the doorkeeper, which is the Illuminati, the Shepherd of the Wealth, and the reigns of all kings named in the book of life. The even the ones that I don't necessarily claim the word blood guilt as a fair, um, unless you're in a world where you have a major want of money and woman that can really do you no real justice. If Caesar himself is the sacrifice of livestock, which is Beowulf's children in that ark, and many other who have made the covenants with Delphi and Xerxes, practicing the law, there is no justice. There is no real justice in the law of faith. if they close themselves in our children and force us to fight them, purposely unfair with our own children's youthful spirits when they come into the house with this dark union in the eyes of a bull and sacrifice it, slaughtered it, put it in the households to take away our freedom and um, use the covenants against the people when the covenants are meant for festivity to the great feast and many drinks to the recording offered to the Lord by whatever ordained people who have been favored to speak off of pure wisdom and offer God that which he seeks, one with real understanding, one with real wisdom, and all of the children that have no salvation in the law, who is one of the biggest thieves, even more so if you fight them. The biggest thief, even worse if you have to fight them, if you're forced to fight them. The biggest, the most biggest thief, if you have to fight them while in sacrifice. Because the children are seen in heaven when the final separation is made. It will not be an adult, but the mental aptitude of that adult with all those children. And this is the upbringing of the generation and the generation and the generation. These are the children of Judah. These are the children of Levi. These are the children of the great successors of uh, futures and past that have risen, whether they be against us or for us, in a foul divination or denomination of a church who seeks, kills, and destroys purposely with the prophetess next to that preacher, that prophetess, that fake, that cheap, that lie, that scum prophetess in the law. And this is one of the reasons I exclaim children being 9/10 of the man, and woman being 1/10 of the rib created from the man, because a woman will not shepherd the truth to a child. The woman seeks something from God Almighty. And in raising children in hatred and anger, making a baby cry, go crazy, uh, not being a proper mother or a father, this is the key to Hades switch reverse back and forth between light and dark. It's a form of give and take between the mother, the father, and the children. And anything outside of the family is considered a covenant and wrong, unlawful, unright, unjust, and a thief. And being forced to fight that thief in the law is even worse. I say, understanding Hercules, who stood up for himself fully. I say, if I ever come to that Hercules, I pray that you are with me.